Hello, my dear student. Welcome to the subject name is business environment. And today we are going to discuss topic 11, that is a use and limitation of environmental analysis. अभी हमने we have discussed की environmental analysis strategy in a last lecture we have discussed, as well as we have discussed about the what are the techniques and tools for the environmental analysis. Now we are going to discuss about the uses and limitation of the environmental analysis. So what are the uses and limitation of the environmental analysis? What is the use and advantages of the environmental analysis? The very first important advantages of the environmental analysis or scanning uh, is make one aware of the environmental and organization linkage. तो और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एनवायरनमेंट बीच का जो लिंकेज होता है, वन मस्ट बी अवेयर ऑफ दैट. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैन गेट exactly idea कि what environmental factor affect the organization in what manner. So यहाँ से organization aware हो जाएगी analysis के through कि कौन कौन से फैक्टर environment के हैं, internal and external factor which impact the organization, and so we can say that it's help to aware about the environmental and organization linkage. Now the second advantage is it help an organization to identify the present and future threat and opportunities. So secondly is a environmental analysis uh, help to identify what is the present and future threat and opportunities for the business. तो बिजनेस एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए क्या क्या प्रेजेंट फ्यूचर थ्रेड एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, it basically analyze through environmental analysis के through पता चलेगा. And the third advantage of the environmental scanning and the environmental analysis is it help the fund to understand the transformation of the environment, industry environment. यहाँ पर basically firm को, organization को can get an idea and understand what the transformation of the industrial environment, what could be the industrial environment transformation in the future or in the present and the future time. तो क्या क्या इंडस्ट्रियल एनवायरनमेंट चेंजेस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन आने वाला है, तो इससे एक बिजनेस को आइडिया लग जाएगा. तो that also basic help that helps organization to understand the transformation. Now the next advantage is to help in adequate strategy formulation and implementation. Definitely environmental analysis की होता है, it's basically make for the decision making process. बिजनेस को डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस के लिए, एंड बेसिकली डिसीजन मेकिंग भी कौन सा, when we talking about the long term decision making, तो strategy decision making के लिए environmental analysis बहुत important होता है. When the business want to make a long term kind of decision making, then this environmental analysis is required. So we can say that the organization, for the organization, the environmental analysis is helpful for making an adequate strategic formulation and implementation. For the strategy formulation and as well as the implementation process के लिए this environmental analysis is very beneficial. Now moving towards the next point, that is help in making suitable modification in the strategy. जितनी भी suitable strategy, what could be the strategy the business should adopt while changing the environment के changes हुए, क्या क्या strategy adopt करनी चाहिए. These strategies is basically depend upon the environmental analysis process. Environmental analysis process के थ्रू जो भी strategies बनेंगी, ये basically environmental analysis के थ्रू ही पता चलता है कि what kind of a strategy the company can use and what kind of strategy should be suitable फॉर द बिजनेस. तो कौन सी स्ट्रेटेजी सही रहेगी, तो ये इन्वायरमेंटल एनालिसिस के थ्रू ही अप्रोप्रिएट इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाती है. इट कीप द मैनेजर मोर इन्फॉर्म्ड एंड definitely environmental analysis is basically identifying and monitoring the internal and external environment of the business, and it definitely it keep the manager informed and alert about the internal and external environment. It means that strength and weakness and opportunity and threat of the business, so the manager can get more information about their business strength, weakness, and the external environment, opportunity, and threat through this environmental analysis process. So now the next point, that is it provide necessary and useful factor of the influential factor for the business. और ये बताता है कि what are the main useful factor that influence or that impact the business. What are the main important factor that influence the business in a more way, in a more advanced way, and what factor that influence the business in a normal way. तो वी कैन से दैट कौन कौन से फैक्टर है जो बहुत एडवांस वे में बिजनेस को इम्पैक्ट करते हैं. तो दिस कैटेगरी कैन बी डिसाइडेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ इन्वायरमेंटल एनालिसिस से पता चलेगा कौन से फैक्टर है विच इन्फ्लुएंस और विच इनफैक्ट इफेक्ट मोर बिजनेस इन अ इन अ मोर एडवांस वे, और कौन से फैक्टर है जो इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो बेसिकली ये एक इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करेगा इन्वायरमेंटल एनालिसिस बिजनेस को. So apart from that, we can say that the internal insight provided by the we can say that environmental analysis क्या कर रहा है? It basically gives the internal insight about the organization, like strength and weakness, and it helped to take a corrective action, whatever the required. Or we can say that it also provide a external metrics or the external information about the environment, what kind of opportunity and threat available in the organization, and what the threat and opportunities the business have to face. So this information is basically given by the environmental analysis, and this is basically very useful information for the business. Now the last we can say that environmental, or you can sum up in a in a in a in a in a right manner that environmental analysis help in detection of the threat at an early stage and assess the organization in developing strategy for its survival and long-term growth. Or we can say that it also help the organization to identify the opportunities and prospective customer, and they can also customize their product. They also can segment their product. They can also add on more technology. They can maximize their market share than its competitor, or then can so through this environmental analysis the company can take advantages over the competitor. Now moving toward the limitation, environmental analysis has a several limitation. एनवायरमेंटल एनालिसिस की अगर हम बात करें, यहाँ कुछ कुछ इसके कुछ डिसएडवांटेजेस और लिमिटेशन भी है. अनएक्सपेक्टेड एंड अनएंटिसिपेटेड इवेंट है. Such element cannot be foretold, and many times the business has to feel unexpected happening. Sometimes the benefit of the environmental analysis phase in some case. कुछ इवेंट ऐसे होते हैं कि we can't find out in an environmental analysis process, and we skip out, or that basically a unexpected and unanticipated event. Like we can take an example of corona. Abhi no business can suppose that this could be a circumstances that any business has to face. तो ये अनएक्सपेक्टेड और अनएंटिसिपेटेड इवेंट है जो कि अचानक से हो जाते हैं, और इनको इन्वायरमेंटल एनालिसिस के थ्रू आप एनालाइज नहीं कर सकते हैं. तो दैट कुड बी अ लिमिटेशन ऑफ द environmental analysis. Next is uncritical faith. Sometimes the data may be incorrect. जो environmental analysis की जो information होती है, then sometime it can be correct, sometime it can be incorrect. तो it may be incorrect. तो जो ये incorrect होती है, तो that could be risky for the business. So that is also a limitation. And last is paralyzed by the analysis. Analysis paralysis, or the paralysis by the analysis, is the anti-pattern, the state of over-analyzing, overthinking a situation, so that the action is never taken in a effect paralyze the outcome. And समटाइम क्या होता है कि हम बहुत ओवर एनालाइज करते हैं सिचुएशन वैसी नहीं होती है, और थ्रू द environmental analysis process the situation can be over analyzed, and इससे क्या होता है, जो डिसीजन मेकिंग होता है that could be a wrong, or the decision would be taken in a wrong manner. तो कभी डिसीजन बहुत गलत हो जाता है, तो that would be a wrong decision for the business. So that also a limitation for the business, and also a limitation of the environmental analysis. So this is all for today now. Thank you, my dear student.